session. So good afternoon once again, colleagues. Welcome to this session, Blackboard Collaborate, BBC 101, hashtag BBC 101. This is designed to be a very quick, short, hands-on session regarding the basics of Blackboard Collaborate. And I have with me a guest facilitator, Ms. Michele Taylor, who is from the School of Education. And Michele Michele works with faculty as well as students in the School of Education. And so we decided to bring her along. She's going to be the lead facilitator, I would say, and I will be assisting in this regard just for today's session. All right. So before we go ahead, I just want to start with a poll because we know this is a Blackboard session that is designed to get your feet wet and basically show you the main features of Blackboard that you would need. As you know, the principal has given a mandate to use Blackboard Collaborate and My eLearning as the main platforms for teaching, for remote course delivery this semester. So with that said, you should see a poll here. All right, and it's a quick poll just to ask you, to gauge how many of you have used Blackboard, and we could probably share that. We could expound on that just a bit before we move forward. All right, so far I see it's a close call. Michele, I guess you could see that too, right? Okay, now it's a little steep. We have students who have not used Blackboard, which is good, All right. And persons, I think, are still voting. We have 11 more persons to vote. So just click on either yes or no, whichever is indicative of your situation. Thus far, we have 15 persons who voted yes and 23 persons with no. I'll give you just 10 seconds, 15 seconds to cast your vote. It's not election, so you know it's pretty harmless. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I just had to do the verbal countdown because Blackboard no longer has the timer. So yeah, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So these are the results that you should see before you. Out of those who voted, we have 9 persons who did not. Out of those who voted, we have 23 persons who have never used Blackboard, which is okay. And we have 15 of those who have. Now, I see in the list, participants list, we have some persons who were in previous sessions, and that's okay. I think today would be a nice little review for you as well, right? For those of you who attended the session on Monday and then who attended the My Learning and Blackboard sessions on either last week, Thursday or Friday, this would be another recap for you. So we're happy to help, and we're gonna start the ball rolling. So like I said before, I have with me Ms. Michele Taylor from the School of Education, and she is going to take you through Blackboard Collaborate. All right, Michele, you have anything you'd like to add, or you could take it from here?
Okay, yes, I can.
And I will just pay attention to the chat and support and whatnot. All right.
Okay, no problem. So good afternoon, everyone. During this time of pandemic, I hope everybody is safe and keeping safe. So this session begins with why am I getting a feedback?
I think somebody's microphone is on. Let me just take off those microphones. You go ahead.
Right. So we're gonna do an icebreaker, and then go into creating a virtual classroom, how to create it in my e-learning. I know many of you don't have access at the moment, um, especially the part-timers. So maybe the coordinators can create the session for you and set it up and share the link with you and make you moderator. So we look at actually going from creation of the BBC Classroom as well as sharing content, recording and getting attendance, retrieving your recordings, getting attendance, breakout rooms, and some of the limitations of Blackboard Collaborate. So it's a packed session, and I hope it to be a very hands-on, as Justin said. So let's begin. All right. How do you feel today? And I'm gonna copy the link and paste it in the chat. All right. So you all can just type in how you feel today. Right? Use the link that I shared and go up and type in, because some of us feel like this right now as the pandemic is going on. And we have to teach online, and we have our children there, and we are trying to cook and manage and everything at the same time. And it's a bit change for a lot of us moving from the face-to-face to online. So how do you feel? Just click on the link, type in one word or a phrase as to how you feel. Okay, so let me just share that screen so you all can see. All right. So are you all seeing my screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me just share again. Share Chrome tab. Sorry. Are you all seeing? I'm seeing a number of people putting anxious. The more you put in, the more persons putting certain words, the more you will see, the larger the word becomes. Are you all seeing now?
Yes.
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 So I'm seeing some people getting overwhelmed, anxious, tired,
Yes, yes.
challenged. So I hope at the end of this that some of your anxieties will be alleviated to some extent. Okay, so right, so I'm gonna stop sharing that and go back to my application.
And in the chat, we have some person saying they feel bewildered. Some person said tired. Um, and all of these, another, I think Janet said students are in the dark. And let me just chime in a little bit here. Sorry, if you don't mind, as we have
Yes,
that,
go ahead.
Janet. What we're doing, we're putting Simon's feeling relaxed. Go figure, Simon. But right, so Janet, we're putting together a package, an e-package. It's basically a support, a pool of resources that would assist students. We met, and when I say we, meaning the examination section, SITS, myself, the registrar, and so on. And we're putting together a pool of resources I think the next meeting for that is tomorrow. So by the next week, Monday, it should be sent out. Yeah. So sorry, go ahead, Michele.
Okay, so let me just share back my slides. So I know how you all. So we did a check before, right? Since the majority of you can't have not used Blackboard Collaborate, most of these things would be no, right? So for those of you who have used Blackboard Collaborate before, can you create? I want you to click on the status at the bottom of your screen, where you have my status, and then click agree or disagree if you can create a Blackboard Collaborate virtual classroom. Now, this is how we get our students to interact with us while we are on Blackboard Collaborate. We need to have their interaction because unless they don't open their mics and speak, we have to see that they are engaged. And one way of engaging our students is to use the emoticons and the little feedback icons and so on our screen. All right, so I see a number of people putting no, well, a couple. Can you schedule a session and share the links with the participants for those who indicated that they can? So it's another way of also polling your students on by using questioning and getting some diagnostic feedback from your students. Right? So I use that a bit in my session. So we will go into those icons later on. So let's move ahead and go to actually creating the session. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, right? And I'm actually going to go into share my my entire screen, my Chrome window. Okay. Just now. Let me share this one. So you are seeing my I have actually logged into one of my courses, right? Online on my e-learning. So I've already logged in. So what I'm going to go through now with you, and I'm going to give you some time for those of you who have access to my e-learning and can actually set it up. I want you to open one of your courses and we're going to set up a link. Okay? Is that okay with everybody? Could you just click on the if I'm going too fast also, please let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. So what you want to do is turn editing on. Right? Click on turn editing on.
I think Gita just said just a few seconds just to kind of set up her course. Well,
Okay.
to get access to
Get
her course.
into her course. So I will give you a couple minutes to get into the course.
I need that too, actually, because the secretary just came in here to tell me something.
Okay, no problem. All right, no problem, Gita.
Okay.
By chat. In the meantime, does everyone have access to a My Learning course? A current My Learning course?
Yes, I have Matthew.
Sorry?
Yes, I just turned on one.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
I see Mariella doesn't. Yes, Brandon, it will be made available. I'm just posting the link, the link to request an enrollment key. For those of you who do not have access to a My Learning course, you would need to use this link, and it's basically a request page. You can do it in 30 seconds. Just insert your name, the course code, and some contact information. All right.
Justin, do I need another? This is Monica. Under Azelaine, do we need another computer to do this, or can I do everything on one?
You can do it on one computer. Just open a different tab. Just open another tab or another page.
Okay, because I'm hearing you, but I'm in my course, so I have to just figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that's okay. If you could just open it in two small tabs or two small pages or windows, that could say you'll see one on one side and your course on the other side.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm supposed to do, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Because when that happens, it usually happens by accident. I'm sorry. Just
no problem at all. I love the honesty. So just click on the tab. You'll see at the top of the page, the tab that you're on, you'll see it highlighted. As if you're using Google Chrome, you'll see it as white.
Yeah, white on the course, yes.
Right. So click on that and drag it out. Like drag it down, for example.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, it's so easy. Oh,
yeah.
Now I have one on top of the other. So now how do I get them side by side?
Right. So just drag this one that you took out, just drag it and place it on the left, and the other one you can place on the right side. Or you could just click the double square at the top right side.
I've done it, but they're both now in a large size.
You have to drag on the corners of the window.
Okay, and just reduce the size.
And you could customize it like that.
And for those of you who are wondering, I'm in my retirement year, so this is real stress. So don't judge me.
A lot of people could relate to you right now, so don't worry. Right? So this is how we learn from each other. So go ahead, Michele.
All right. So once you're into the course shell, you want to click on Turn Editing On. All right. So I'm going to turn editing on. Right. What you'll see, I already have it turned on. You will see a plus sign next to each of the elements in your window, right, where you have add an activity or resource. So you want to add an activity or resource, and a list or grid will come up, and you will see Blackboard Collaborate. All right, you want to click on Blackboard Collaborate, and a window will come up where you give basically your virtual classroom a name, or your virtual course a name. So I'm going to give it virtual classroom name. Right? And I'm just going to put 101. Right? And then I save and return to course. You will see it coming up here with the Blackboard Collaborate icon. Are you all seeing that?
Yes.
Right. So I want you to try that now.
Sorry, can you run through the steps again, please? Sorry.
Sure. So I'm going to delete it. To delete, I can click on Edit and Delete next to the icon. So I'm just going to delete it and do it over again. Once you turn editing on, right, you click on Add an Activity or Resource. The icons for all the activity and resource will come up in this window, and you want to click on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Once you have clicked on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, you give your class or course room a name. So I'm going to give it Virtual Classroom 101. Scroll down to the bottom and save and return to close. Once you've done that, you have your virtual course or classroom appearing.
I see Trevor has his hand raised. Yes,
Yes,
Trevor?
Trevor.
For some reason on my learning, I got a message briefly saying type error, but then it came back to the course. So I was able to save it, but that type error, since I don't know, I've seen it through in these course shares this year. Has anybody else reported that, Justin?
Yeah, it may have been something related to the upgrade in my learning, because some of these I've been hearing a few queries about things like that, and things appearing a little differently. And the only variable that would have changed really was the upgrade to my learning. Now you would have seen a campus-wide message when the upgrade took place. I think that was not last week, probably the week before. So most of those concerns that I've gotten so far, all of them I've reported them to the administration sits, and so we're working on it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so can we move on? Once you've created your classroom, right, you want to click on the session and create a session. So once you go into here, this is your course classroom here, your virtual classroom for the course. So if the course is your 50 students or how many ever, you can actually create your session, use the entire course session here. But if you have many tutors for a particular course, you may want to create a session for each one of your tutors or instructors, which is where we come to the bottom here and create a session. A session is like you have a classroom and you're assigning or a block, and you're assigning people to different rooms within that block. I mean, that's an analogy, right? So I can create a session for, say, Miss Smith tutorial session. Okay. Session, and we will go into the settings for that session. So I want you to click on your created session. For those of you who have your course shell, created your virtual classroom, I want you to create a session. All right. Yes, Trevor, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that create a session on my course shell. I'm just seeing a gray area.
Okay, let's go back. Let me just discard this and.
So I'm seeing the course room.
Right.
But I'm not seeing that create session below. It's just a gray band across what would have been writing there. Like something like it's blocking out something, or something didn't load properly.
Okay. Let me see.
What's your course code, Trevor? I could probably troubleshoot it for you one time.
3009-202010.
Okay, one sec, right?
And I'm using Google Chrome.
So let's give Trevor Ariana. Is Ariana right?
Yes, hi, good afternoon. I'm similar to Trevor. Mine also just says filter by, and it says all upcoming sessions. So it does not have a tab to say create a session.
Okay, let's go back. Let me just go back to the course.
I have the same issue as Trevor.
Turn editing off and see what happens.
I think the problem is like I entered my learning through Internet Explorer 11. That is a problem, I think. I'll come out and go into Chrome and see if that helps.
All right. Go backwards. Click on the
Okay.
Yeah, Justin. Did you find an error?
No, I was just responding to Trevor's thing. He said he was going to try something else. So I'll continue looking on my end.
Ariana, could you go back to on the breadcrumbs at the top? Go back to your course code. Click on it. Turn editing off. And then click back on your classroom that you created. All right, and see if it comes up.
No, unfortunately, it's the same.
Okay. Let me see. Somebody's saying something.
Renee, I think, the new course will do it. That will work perfectly. So at least you could set up for your new course in time.
Thank you.
Right. Was the problem solved?
Okay, so I think Trevor has
Internet Explorer.
Yeah. So let me just say this as a general notice, guys. So you want to make sure and use, I mean, we said it earlier, but I'll say it again. You want to make sure and use Google Chrome as opposed to Internet Explorer. All right, I just hear an input. Let me just mute the mic. Right, you want to make sure and use Google Chrome, sorry, as opposed to Internet Explorer. All right, and after this session, I'll send you some resources that would guide you accordingly as well in terms of what browsers Blackboard works on best. Of course, I'm saying Google Chrome because that's what it works on best, but there are a couple other variations that you have. Nikita, go ahead.
Oh, hi. I just have a really quick question. I know this might be jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm just a little confused. So is it that we create a session every single time we have to do a different class?
No.
Okay.
No. I'll explain as we go into the settings.
Okay, thank you.
Elaine? Elaine, go ahead.
Yes, this is me. I'm also Monica. I would like to think that Nikita's question was bearing on the fact that she may be in my PBL group of tutors.
Right.
What we are doing is I am the convener, so I am actually preparing the rooms for everybody. All they have to do is join and find their name and then their name. The only problem is, as I said in the chat, I created the rooms last week and now I can't find them, so I have to do it all over again.
Oh.
And it's tomorrow.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
You created them last week, and which course in the same course, right?
Yes, the same course.
Right.
I mean, I don't mind them again because I can't find. I don't know where they are now. So, but I've had 2 lectures already, and I've gotten in easily, and everything has gone fine with that. This is a new dimension now.
All right.
And think about it for tomorrow morning.
Just take a moment. When did you create those sessions, the previous ones?
Well,
because
yes.
I'm asking. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yeah. When did you create them? Like 2 weeks ago?
No, not so long. The lecture started yesterday, and so yesterday, no, they started on Monday. So yesterday I actually created the lecture for tomorrow morning, followed by the PBL tutors meeting tomorrow morning. And then after that is where I need the rooms where they break out.
Okay.
Well, they don't break out, they have PBL.
And they're not appearing there.
No, but it doesn't matter. I'll do it again. It's not a problem.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks.
Okay, then. So we can continue. What you can do is create a session. And in the session, you can type, say, Miss Taylor tutorial session, right? Here you can have guest access, because if they don't have access to my e-learning as yet, they wouldn't get the link unless you select guest access. Set it as participant, right? Or a participant takes part. A presenter can share their screen, and the moderator has control of the session. Okay, so the best thing to do is be a participant, set it as participant, and when you go into the session, you can set those persons as moderators who you want to be for that session. You can set the time, the start time, date and time, and end of the session. Now, if the session, this is where the person who asked me the question earlier, if you have to recreate a session, no, you don't have to. If you leave the session open, it means that you can go into that room anytime and have your classes or your sessions. Basically, it's like leaving the classroom door open and you can walk in anytime and have a class. You just tell your students what time you are having classes that you would be able to enter the room.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for that.
All right. So another thing that you need to set is that the early entry into the room, where the participants can enter the room, and we usually set it either 30 to 60 minutes before the session starts, so that they can test their mic and their video and all those things to make sure it's working, and they can get settled before the session starts. So nice idea, maybe leave it 50 minutes, 60 minutes before the start of the session. Right? This is not all the settings. The next set of settings that you have is the session settings. All right? This is where you allow your participants to download the recordings. The default attendee is participant, so leave it as participants. You can allow recordings to be downloaded. So at the end of the session, once the recording is ready, the students can go back up into My e-learning and download the recordings, or you can share the link of the recordings with your participants. You can, if you want to anonymize the chat messages, which I don't think you want to do, because you want to know who sent what message in the chat. You can show profile pictures of the moderators if you want to. And these are some permissions that you may want to share audio, share video, allow participants to post in the chat, draw on the whiteboard and other files, allow attendees to join the session using a telephone. Now, this is also, go ahead, somebody had their hands up. Hazel?
Yes, I missed how you got into this session here.
Okay.
How will you get back?
I will go back. Let me just finish this and I will do it over again. Okay?
Thank you.
One of the other things is the private chat. You don't want participants to, well, I personally don't want participants to chat privately amongst themselves, right? I want to be able to see what they are chatting about because they can have conversations, a conversation or a chat going on among themselves where you are not a part of. So participants can chat privately only with the moderators, and the moderators must supervise all private chats. In my case, I don't like the private chats between the participants because they can be having a totally different conversation than what you are teaching about. So I would check the first one. Right? There's also a profanity filter, so you can hide profanity in the chat messages. If anybody decides to write anything that is not appropriate, you may want to hide it in the chat messages. So those are some of the settings that you may decide to do. So I'm just going to create this session, and I'm going to recreate another one so that those who missed it will follow me and try to do it again with their course shell. All right, so you can create multiple course shells, right? Sorry, sessions. All right, so I'm going to create another session. Click on create session. And this time I'm going to put Mr. Zephyrine. Zephyrine, spell your name. Oh, I see that.
Zephyrine. Yeah.
Right. And so I have given his session, Mr. Zephyrines virtual session. He wants to have guest access so that you can actually get the link. The session can have a start and an end. However, if you want to have the classroom open so that whatever time you want to have a session, again, say tomorrow at 6 o'clock you want to have a session and you tell your students, they can still come into the classroom. So you want to have no end selected. So this link would be used for the entire semester. Right? You don't have to change the link. You also want to set the early entry into the session. So say 30 minutes before the session starts, they can enter the classroom, or 60 minutes, right? Once you have done that, that's the event details that you have just set. The next thing you want to do is set the session settings. And this,
Michele,
go ahead. Sorry.
Just looking at the chat. Monica had a little question, and I guess I answered to some extent. The students, she was asking if the students will know whose group they are assigned to, and the tutors will have the names also. So she wants to know if she needs to make the tutors moderators first. I could answer it, but you could go ahead and answer it.
No, go ahead.
Reading a question again, Monica, in addition to what I was saying earlier in the chat, in response to your question, you would, if the tutors are not editing teachers or teachers in the course, then you would have to go in and, or if they are guest lecturers, then you would have to go in and make them moderators. Yeah? Right, you have a list with me. Okay, good. And that works as well.
Yeah, I do have a list with the names of the students and their tutors. Just got it about an hour ago.
Oh,
My thing is that when I'm putting in the tutors' names, then they will be the moderators, but the students will need to be presenters. So I just don't want to make the students moderators and then have to select the tutors out, or vice versa. I want to know if I can do those things in two separate things.
You can.
Yes, you can do it. If I understand correctly, you're saying that the moderators, sorry, tutors will be the moderators in the groups, and then the students need to be presenters, correct?
Yes, and I think there was some doubt as to whether all the students should be presenters or just one out of the group, because there are about 12 people in the group. So they were saying that perhaps one person who will be the scribe should be the presenter, and the rest of the students hand the information or send the information to the scribe to present, which is probably going to be less tedious.
Right. You could have more than one presenter, more than one person as presenters in a particular session, and I guess when Michele gets to that, she'll show us. But you can have more than one student as a presenter in a session, but not more than one person presenting at the same time. Yeah? So, yeah, so just saying that. But when we get to that part, I think it'll make a lot more sense because you'll actually see it taking place. All right? I see Jillian. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Julie Matthews.
Right, go ahead.
Right.
Thank you so much.
I am not seeing sessions settings. So early setting, early entry. And then there's something called description. Why are you meeting? And then it will create. So I'm not seeing the...
If you scroll back to the top, you will see the side of event details.
Yes.
You will see the gear, the session
setting. Like a COVID-19 symbol, yeah.
Right. Click on it and the session settings will come up.
Thank you very much.
Right?
Yes, I see.
So I'm going to continue now. The default attendee here is the participants. I can allow recordings to be downloaded. So once the students have access to my e-learning, they can go into my e-learning and download the recordings. I'm not going to anonymize the chat messages, which means that you don't know who's saying what. So I will leave that unchecked. I'm not going to show my profile picture, or you may choose to do so. Participants are allowed to share audio, video, post messages in the chat, and also write on the whiteboard. I'm also allowing people to join by the telephone. And I want the chat to be moderated, that the participants can only chat privately with the moderators. I don't want them to chat among themselves, because what will happen is that they will be chatting with each other and maybe talking about something that is totally off the topic, their own information. So I'm going to check this one, and I'm not going to check this one because there will be no private chats taking place. And I also want to hide any profanity that someone might say within the chat message. Once I've selected all my settings, I can click create. Okay. So have you all gone through and done that?
Yes.
And I can close the window. Okay. So now I have my session, and Mr. Zephyrine has his tutorial session, and I can tell my students when to come into the session from the first day to any day during the term. Right? I can, when you click on the ellipse in the circle, the three dots in the circle next to it, I can join a session. I can edit the settings, further go back and edit the settings. I can view the reports, I can delete the session, or I can copy the link here and send it to my students. This is where I get the link to also to send to my students. So I can copy it and paste it in whichever forum or email it to my students. Is that okay with everybody?
Oh, sorry to be so slow. Join session?
Right.
How did you get that box?
We haven't joined the session yet. Right? We have.
Where do you go?
Okay. When you click on the ellipse, there are a few options that you have. You can join the session, which means you're starting the Blackboard Collaborate session. Right? You can edit the settings, go back and edit the settings. You can view the report, which we will get to later on. Right? You can delete the session if you want, or you can copy the link. And this is one of the more important ones, where you get the link to send to your students. Okay.
The question is just, where are you seeing the ellipse? I'm not seeing that.
At the side of your session, there's a little circle with 3 dots in it, which is the session options. Are you seeing that?
Not yet. No, I'm not seeing it. Session settings. That's not. No, not seeing it.
You're not seeing a little circle. If you place your mouse pointer on the session, at the side of it.
Yeah, it's on the right side of the session title. No, I think she might be in the settings, yeah?
Okay. If you're still in the settings, right? If you're still, let me go here, edit settings. If you're still here, make sure you click save.
Yeah.
And come out. And just X out click on the little purple X.
Okay.
I know I may be going slow for some others, but we're trying to get everybody on board. Okay. Are you okay?
No, but I'll be okay. I'll find it later. I'm not seeing it right now. It's okay.
You sure you're not seeing it? Right. So at the are you seeing where my arrow is pointing to?
Session options?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you locate that on your system?
I'm not seeing it. I'm not even seeing what I created. It's gone.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to you. So when
I'll message her privately and try to provide some guidance.
Okay.
Right?
So as I was saying before, you can go back and edit the sessions, which will take you here, and you can make some changes if you want. Or you can click on the link, you can go down and you can copy the link and share it with your students. It would have been copied to your clipboard, and you can paste it in your email when you send it out to your students. Okay, so now we're going to look at the interface of the Blackboard Collaborate. Once you have your session, you just click on it and you can join the session. You will see join session if you click on the your session, your tutorial session, or if you click on the ellipse, you will see join session. That will start up your Blackboard Collaborate meeting. Okay, so let me just move to my screen here, and I'm just going to give you a little go back to my presentation. And let's have a look at the Blackboard Collaborate interface, which is what you're seeing here. So at the top here, where you see the little camera, 3 dashes with a semicircle, which is the session menu. When you click on it, you will see stop recording, use your phone, report an issue, tell collaborate, and privacy. And at the bottom, you will see leave session. So you must remember to start your recording if you intend to record your Blackboard, your collaborative session. Okay? At the bottom, you will see your status, a little picture of a little man, which is your status, the microphone, the video, and raise hands. So if you have a problem in class, or you can tell your students to raise their hands. Okay, so you will see it in my menu because you're not seeing my entire screen. The microphone, right? The webcam, and the raise hand, which is at the end, right? The media space is the middle part there, that black area where your presentation takes place. On the right of your screen, you will see a purple or pinkish purple. Yeah, it's slightly different because it's an old thing. It's slightly different from this one, but the features are still there. You will see the chat icon, the participants icon, the shared content, and the settings icon. Somebody say they're not seeing what I'm sharing.
It's
on where you came from, yeah.
Can you say that again, please, Monica?
Yes, I'm not seeing how you got into BBC Ultra interface because I've never seen that. I don't have Ultra. I don't know if that's the reason.
I think, well, you don't have to have Ultra. It's just so you created a session already, right? Yeah.
I have a Miss Taylor test session created. Yes.
Right. So you're gonna click on the 3 dots next to that session. It's kind of like an ellipsis at the right of that title, the session title. You see a circle with 3 dots. Now, pause for a minute. Did you create the session to start from today or now, or is it something that is supposed to start from, like, let's say next week? Because if it's something that is predated, then you wouldn't see that, you wouldn't be able to join it or get those options that we're referring to, which I think is what happened.
Yeah, I think that's, so I'll just go back again. That's no problem.
Out and you wouldn't be able to really click on it to access it, right?
I'll jump out and start it again and put a timing on it. What time shall I put? I mean, I don't know, because
well, you could put one for 3:02. Is it 3:01? Yeah. All right, over to you, Michele.
All right. Okay. So once you're in, right, there are a number of let me see if I can share my the first icon that you see there is the chat window, and a lot of you are chatting already, right? The next icon, if you had clicked on the control, the Collaborators Panel, which is that purple dash. It takes, opens and closes the panel that you see on the right-hand side, where you have chat, participants or attendees, share content, and settings. Okay, so if you click on attendees, you will see all the persons who are in the session, right? Those who are moderators, those who are participants, those who are joining, and if you had presenters, it will show up there as well. Right? At the side of each person's name, there's an attendee control, where you can, as a moderator, I can make somebody else a moderator. I can make them a presenter. I can actually remove them from the classroom. And I can also send them a private message or private chat. Right? So on the ellipse button next to the person's name in participants, if you clicked on participants, you will see a little ellipse. And I think, right, just now. So you will, here you're actually seeing the attendees. On the little ellipse next to it, once you click on the name on the ellipse, you will see, if you are the moderator, you can make somebody else the moderator or the presenter, or you can even remove them from your class. Okay. There's a little box as well with some lines in it. It tells the person whether your signal is good or not. Right? So if you're having internet problems, the presenter, the moderator will actually see that you're having some internet issues. You will have less lines in the thing and might be even red. Okay, the third box is the share content. So let me just stop sharing this and see if I can share my entire screen. Right? If I want you all to click on the share content box at the bottom, it's a little square with a kind of half arrow pointing to the right. Are you all seeing that? Could you click on your status and click agree or disagree if you're not seeing it? Thank you. I'm seeing some people. Okay, Simon, you're not seeing it. There is a little box at the bottom, Simon.
Yeah.
Right, with a curved arrow pointing to the right. If you place your mouse pointer over it, you will see share content.
Yeah, right now I'm seeing just the screen with the participants.
Right, but if are you seeing the 4 icons at the bottom of your screen?
Yeah, I can find them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you click on share content, you will see share whiteboard.
Okay.
Share application, share camera, share files. Now, I think it would only appear if you are, Justin, tell me if I'm wrong, if they are host, they
Yeah,
are,
you see that if they are the moderator.
Okay.
They're all participants, but make a couple of them moderators if you'd like.
Okay, so let me make Simon moderator so that you can see the controls. Simon, are you seeing the controls now? I just made.
Yeah, I'm seeing them.
right? So your students do not see all the controls. You, as a moderator, you see all the controls. Okay?
Okay. I'm just addressing some questions along the way, right? If you don't mind, Michele, is that
Yeah,
okay?
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we have one question. This is in private, so I wouldn't say call the person, but it was along the lines of if you set a session and you wanted to either set it to be repeated or which we did already, or if you wanted to modify it, to modify the date or something of that nature. And I guess the short answer to that is yes. You can always go and modify it just where you went in the settings to create the session. You can go back to that same place and edit the settings. And in that editing menu, you can modify the date and the time. The good thing is that it will not change the link. It will not change students' access to it. Well, unless you change the time and it's, you brought up the time or you postponed it to a later time, then that would be it. But it would not change the link or any of the other settings. Yeah, does that help? I think someone else had a question. Eric, go ahead. Eric?
Yes, Eric.
Okay. Be sure to click on the microphone at the bottom of your screen so we can hear you. Okay, there we go. Go ahead. No, I think his microphone is off again. Okay, Eric, would you mind typing it, please?
Or Rhonda? Rhoda?
Yeah, okay.
Hi, let me know if you're hearing me clearly.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. I wanted to know if it's possible to lock a session while you are in the session, as in, I'm teaching the class and let's say it's 20 minutes into the class, so I'm not interested in having any latecomers come into the class at that point in time. Is there a facility to lock the session while you are in the session, or you can, or it doesn't exist?
Not to my knowledge. Now the answer is later. There aren't any features that we're aware of that would allow you to lock persons prevent them from joining the room entirely. Because remember, they're enrolled in your course. Now, you can't remove a student once they've joined. You can't remove them as Michele highlighted as well.
Sometimes students come into the wrong session. That's what I mean. So sometimes you have a situation where you start a class. Let's say I'm doing a 9 to 10 session, and then there's a 10 to 11 session afterwards. Sometimes the students will come in early. They will see that the room is open and available, that people are in the room, and they will come into the session, but they're not in the right session.
In a case like that,
I guess then what I do is I put them out, or I ask them to leave until it's their correct session.
Yeah, you can probably put them out. Just the same platform, the same attendees icon. You just click there and remove them from the session. I would recommend that you probably might want to message them first so they know that that's the wrong session. So because you don't want to put them out and then they have to join back right after, Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Eric, I was trying to type the response as well. Eric was asking, I can share PDF, JPEG, but not Word files. Why is that? And the short answer, Eric, is that Blackboard only recognizes PowerPoint documents, PDFs, and JPEGs or images. It doesn't recommend a host of other file formats. What I would recommend, and I guess Michele would expound eventually, is that any document that you want to, even if it's a PowerPoint, I would recommend that you convert it to a PDF. Yes, it gets skewed.
That's one of the, I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage of Blackboard Collaborate, in that even if it's a PowerPoint, it converts your PowerPoint to a PDF.
Yes.
When you are about to when you have to share it,
Right.
unless you share your entire desktop or the
I was
screen.
going to say that for Eric's case, because he's saying he might need to modify it live, like synchronously during the session. So in a case like that, Eric, I would recommend sharing your screen with the document. So if it's a Word document that you have and you don't want to convert it to PDF or whatnot, then you can share that Word document by sharing your screen. Yeah. And that way you can, if it's something that you need to be modified, I'm assuming you need to modify to show the translation, correct? Yes, you see it. Yeah, you said it there. So, but I will only be able, sorry, yes, but I will be the only one able to type. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you do the whiteboard part.
Yeah.
Okay. So our time is running short, so could we continue? Yes, somebody saying that.
Google Doc. Very good, Gina.
Right, and share it.
Yes.
Yeah. Or write on the whiteboard. So let me see if I can share my screen. When you go on share content, you will see share up. There are 4 options available. Share a blank whiteboard. So I'm going to do that. Right? So you can share the whiteboard and participants can write something on the whiteboard. So I want, let me see whom. I'm just going to call a name, Mr. Scott, or Miss Joseph, Chanel Joseph. Could you write something on the whiteboard, please? All right, now this has to be, go ahead. All right, you can click on the pencil or click on the text box and type or draw a shape. Now this has to be managed, especially if you have a class. So you need to call on persons to write on the whiteboard, because everybody may write at the same, try writing at the same time. Okay.
And as you could probably tell, this might work pretty good for not just in terms of translation, things as Eric made mention of, but it also works in terms of, I see someone is writing an equation, so I was going to say that, something along those lines. Now, if you have a stylus, you get even more accurate annotations, yeah? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
If somebody connects to Blackboard Collaborate using their tablet, and or their phone, their smartphone, and they have a stylus that they can write on the screen, you get a better quality, what will I say, more accurate writing. So I will stop sharing. All right, I will stop sharing the whiteboard and go to the next application. Yes, Chanel, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. I just have a question pertaining to when you're sharing content. Usually, well, in the how do you avoid this, like the cascading, the 1,000,001 windows showing up in the background when you're trying to share content? Because that was an issue that I had last time. So I don't know if I was doing something wrong.
No, that happens. That happens with Blackboard.
Okay. Thank you.
Unless you are right. So the second option is sharing your screen, which is what we're going to go into, and sharing. So I'm going to share my entire screen, and let me see. Are you all seeing it?
No, not yet.
Okay. Click share. Oh, it's not being shared. Justin, do you want to share your screen? Let me see if it works. Okay, and I'm not sure why it's not working. Oh, yes. So the cascading screen. Right? Now this this happens with Blackboard and a couple other programs I know of, but
It often occurs when you click the share. So when you go to, so you see my cursor here, right? So when you click share application or screen, all right, you're gonna see two options. Now I'm gonna stop it now so it doesn't make you too dizzy, right? So so when you click on share application or screen, you need to click on application window as opposed to share your entire screen. All right, share application window, and that would allow you to share a particular tab or a particular window that you have
already open.
Yeah, so to avoid that, because remember when you share this particular screen, it's like you're sharing within a share within a share within a share. So it looks like an echo or cascading share. So always aim for application window. I'm just calling because that's the button you're gonna see when you click on share application / screen, you would see three buttons or menu at the top, 3 tabs, your entire screen, application window, or Chrome tab. I would recommend you go with the application window and you select the page or document that you'd like to share.
Right. So I'm going to share my application window. Let's see what you all are seeing. How come mine's not working?
Oh, yours is not working?
I'm not seeing it coming up at all. It's clicking on it, share application window, and clicking share, and nothing is happening.
And it's working for me.
I don't know what's going on today.
Yeah.
Right?
Is there anything particular you wanted to show? I could probably show it here.
Just share your Blackboard Collaborate window with the share contents.
All right. This particular window you're referring to?
Yeah. Let me see.
I think that might give the echo within an echo. I mean, cascading thing.
No, just share your Chrome window. Well.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Your Chrome window.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing, right? Okay. Let me see.
So
Chrome. Okay, let me see if I can share my Chrome tab.
Okay.
So you're seeing it? Oh no, it's doing the same thing.
Because remember you're showing the screen with the it's like a screen within a screen within a screen, so you tend to get that.
Right. Well, just for a moment. So what you're gonna see here, you can share application screen, you can share your camera, you can share files, and with the sharing of the files, basically, I would recommend PDF, right? You also see polling, which is what Justin did earlier, and you also see breakout rooms. So these are the settings, the options you have within share content. And as I have notifications popping up, if you click on at the bottom of your window, the gear wheel, you can actually take off notification because sometimes it can be a bit distracting when you're teaching. Okay? So let me go back to my, I think I have in my presentation, I do have some features that I can go through with you all. Right. Right. So you're all seeing my screen?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Cool. Right. So at the bottom of the icons where you have my status and settings, the picture of the little man, you will see the feedback options. So whether you want somebody to go asking your students, go faster, go slower, I'm sad, I'm confused, surprised or happy, these emoticons can be selected, and at the side of the person's name, the a little icon, the little icon appears, so you can actually check the feedback from your participants. You can also click away, and so if you're stepping away from your computer, if you click away, a little icon of a clock comes up on the side of your name. Right? As I said before, those little bars at the side, if it's full, it means that you're having good internet access, good connectivity. If it's low, you will see go to yellow and then red. I think those are the colors to tell you. And some of the bars are reduced, so you might see 1 or 2 bars, and it will let you know that the person has poor connectivity. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
That's one thing. So I'm just looking at the time. I know we have just a couple things to cover still. Is it okay if we just, I'm asking, if we can just go an extra 10 minutes just to kind of cover those things? Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, great.
That's fine.
Okay, great. Go ahead. Thank you so much for that, guys. Go ahead, Michele.
Right. So as I said, this button brings up the shared window, shared content. So you can share your screen, you can share the whiteboard, you can share files. Now timing has been the timer has been removed, although I thought this was a really good feature. Polling actually occurs live, so you have to enter your questions when you are polling, right? So you cannot, while this session is going on, you have to create your poll. You can't pre-create it and wait for the session to occur, right? Then you have breakout rooms, which we'll go into quickly, because I know you want to have breakout rooms for your students. Yes, Jaleen, is Jaleen?
This is Jeline. A bit slow. I was just wondering if you're going to have this session again between now and the end of the month.
Yeah, we're gonna have this session repeated. In addition to this recording that will be sent to you, you would also have this session is going to be repeated on Friday as well. All right. We have
okay, I'll join the Friday class again.
Yeah, we also have, I think, next week, but I guess Michele and I would talk about those and see how we can navigate through those. All right. But yes,
Okay.
And Eric, I responded to your question about audio files, and I'm saying it so everyone will be on the same page. If it's well, remember Blackboard only recognizes PDFs, images, and PowerPoint. So if it's something outside of that, let's say a video file or even a audio file, then you can do it through different avenues. Well, basically 2. One would be to share your screen, and let's say if it's a video that you have on a DVD or flash drive or whatnot, then you would probably need to share your screen. That might be the better option for you, and students can watch it from there. But my preference, however, is to, if I have it on a link, as a link, let's say if it's a YouTube video, or even if it's something I have in my Google Drive, because with Google Drive, you can just share it via a link, yeah? And that would also allow you to share. Now, I like to send them the link in the chat, and then they come back and we discuss it, or we, you know, fold it into the instruction. All right.
Yeah, then a little time to listen to it and then come back.
Exactly. And I think what you're doing there, Eric, that suggestion with uploading it on My Learning is even better, because then that's a technique we call the flipped classroom. So now they come to the session with an idea of what the video is all about. So very good. I like that. I think Monica wanted to say something, and then we could continue. Monica?
Yeah, no, I just sent a message, that's all.
Oh, no problem. All right.
We already went through the whiteboard where people were able to write on the whiteboard. The little icon at the top here with the circle and the square is to stop sharing. So you can, it also appears in the corner at the top as well. Okay. And, oops, sorry. So breakout rooms, that was the last, well, let me do pollings. Pollings are either multiple choice or yes and no responses. So you can actually create a poll. Let me go back. You can actually create a poll and type a question, but it has to occur during your session. So it's like a quick short, closed-ended question where they have a choice to choose. Right, so you can ask them a quick question as you go along in your session. So for example, let me see. Oh. I'm just typing quickly.
While you do that, one of the suggestions I want to make with regard to that, and those of you who attended the sessions before, I always recommend that you have your poll, the prompt or the stem of your poll, the question. If you have it in your PowerPoint or somewhere in a Word document, and that way you can just copy and paste it into the space, yeah. So you wouldn't have to manually type especially if it's a long question.
Yeah.
Copy and paste it, and then you just insert the possible responses or options.
Right, so I'm just doing a quick something, and I posted my poll, and you all can respond. Right, and you can actually, once you think you have gotten enough responses, you can probably do like Justin did, give a little countdown, and then show the responses to the class. So in this case, so far, I have 10 people with no response, or 9 people say I'm good, 23 saying I can do so with some practice, and 1 person says that they need a lot of help. Okay, so I can actually end the poll, or to show responses, and end the poll. Okay, so that's a quick questions. As Justin said, you can have your questions in the in a file to be able to quickly copy and paste it into the polling than spending time what do you call it, spending time typing it during your session. Breakout rooms. Let me just do a quick, I didn't have this saved, right? And I am just going to share a file with you all. Where is the file? So are you all seeing this? So I just showed a picture of what you would see when you click on breakout rooms. You can randomly assign your students to groups. You need to put in the number of groups. So right now I have 2 groups, and because of that I have because of the number of participants, I have 20 participants, 40 participants, so 20 would be in each group. I can randomly, or I can actually manually assign them. If I check this box, I can actually manually assign students to groups, right? I can allow attendees to switch between groups. Geeta asked which box. There's a little box here at the bottom of assign groups. Justin, let me see if I create a pointer. Are you seeing my pointer? The pointer is so hot.
Yes, I'm seeing your pointer. Guys, if you need to expand your screen, just so we'll see it a little more clearly, you would see a magnifying glass close to the top left side of the screen. Yeah, it's a little page with a magnifying glass. And when you click on it, you would see a magnifying glass with a plus sign. Click on the plus sign, and that will expand the image for you, the visual that you're seeing here. Okay, so at least you get to see the
if I can,
yeah, a little better.
All right. So this little box here at the bottom of randomly assign, you can actually include moderators in the assign, or you can actually in the drop down menu allow do a manual assignment of the students. You can also allow attendees to switch between groups. Sometimes you don't want that to occur, so you don't allow them to move between the groups, right? You can shuffle attendees as well, so that, for example, you tell them you would work in this group for 10 minutes, and then you can shuffle, come back and shuffle the attendees and put them in another group, right? So once you do that and you click start, they automatically go into the breakout rooms where they will discuss whatever whatever assignment you give them to do, to discuss. Now, you cannot record in breakout rooms, only the moderator. I don't know if it has changed. Only the moderator, whatever room the moderator is in, is the only room that is recorded. Has that changed?
I think as far as I remember, the main room is recorded.
Recorded, not the other room.
Not the breakout rooms.
Not the breakout rooms.
Yeah.
Kind of mixing it up with Zoom now.
So in Zoom, you could record breakout rooms, but in the main room, like we are all in a main room here, so this is being recorded. But if we were to put you into breakout rooms, those sessions would be would not be recorded. So the workaround to that would be to, let's say you're in a situation where you want to give students certain activities to go and do in their breakout rooms. And yes, you as a moderator could move from room to room to supervise and guide. Because remember, you want to be the guide on the side. And when they come back into the main room, you would they can present, you can even make them the presenter, and they can present what they found or what they came up with. That's normally how I would use it in my sessions.
Yes. Yeah? So I think that's it. Anything else? Let me stop share. Think. Any questions, comments?
How yeah, go ahead.
Right. How do you allow voices to present? So once you have your participants, so I'm going to ask, say, Andrew, and I'm going to make him a presenter, Andrew Cap, right? So I can click on the attendee control, which is the ellipse, the circle with the ellipse inside, and I'm going to make him a presenter. And he can now share his screen. He should see the share icon coming, share content icon coming up. And Andrew can now share what he wants to present. Okay, somebody asked if you can do custom assignments in the breakout room. You will have to supply the students. Oh, thank you, Andrew. You will have to supply the students with their assignments, right? You can actually send a message to chat with a particular student. Send a message to a particular student. So maybe you want to share with the group what they have to do beforehand, before they get into the breakout rooms. Okay. Any other questions? Oh,
yes, I've got a
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to know what is the difference between Blackboard Collaborate and Blackboard Collaborate Ultra? That's one question. And the other question is, are there any, would you recommend that students download the application for this software onto mobile devices, or go through my e-learning each time?
Well, to answer your first question, with Blackboard Collaborate and Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, it's basically different versions of the same platform, for the most part. It's almost like a new model of a car. We know a Corolla is a Corolla, right? But you have different models, so to speak, or upgrades. So that's one part. And of course, with the upgrades or with the different models or versions, you have different features, right? But more or less, the one that we're using, I think, is one of the more contemporary versions. There was a version that we used to use. I think, Rhoda, you might be familiar with it. You did a couple of things, so you might be familiar with it. That was a previous version. And so it's been upgraded to what we have now. So yeah, so that's one of the main things. The second question I think you said was
the software, the application, because they're Android apps and iOS apps for Blackboard Collaborate. So I was just wondering if the applications themselves would be useful to students, or should we just continue to have the students go straight through my e-learning every single time? Because and the reason I'm asking it is, if they're doing it through e-learning, it means that if they're doing their classes off mobile devices, they have to go up into their browser, get into my e-learning, etc., etc. Whereas there are applications for this software that kind of cut out some of the steps, I would imagine.
Right, back and forth, yeah. Well, yeah. The short answer is it's better when they I would recommend going through my learning. And there are several reasons I would suggest that. I'm hearing some feedback. I'm not too sure where, but I'm seeing the microphones are closed. So, anyways, yes, I would recommend that you send them through my learning for various reasons. It allows you, especially when I'm not sure if we show them, Michele, and I'll probably just do a quick, just to show you, and that's it, to take attendance, right? So it allows you to keep a track of who's attending, and even if they have the link, you could still keep attendance. But you want to, I think it's a smoother transition to go from My Learning and Blackboard into as opposed to using the Blackboard app. One reason, at least my experience and research on it, is that the app isn't as stable, let's say, as Zoom. You know, like Zoom has an app, and Zoom has one of the more stable mobile applications there. Blackboard isn't quite, you know, it's, I don't want to call it a brand name or something, but it's kind of like, you know, one brand is trying to catch up with the other. So, like that. Right? So I would recommend that you send them through My Learning. And then that would avoid you having to, you know, if someone was link because they don't have access to My Learning and all that kind of thing. You don't want that as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Couple things before we conclude. How do you get the recordings and how do you get the attendance? All right. So you all are seeing my screen, right? At the top here, you will see the 3 dashes, which is the menu. This is in my e-learning, right? In your virtual classroom. So let me just go back to the top and come back into your virtual classroom. So this is what you see when you come into my e-learning, right? You're seeing that? So I'm going into my course, my Blackboard session. And at the top of it, you will see 3 dashes, which is the menu. From here, you will see your recordings. When you click on recordings, well, the session isn't over as yet, so there are no recordings. But you will see only recordings for the past 30 days. So if you do not download it before the 30 days is up, it is removed from this storage area. Right? So at the top here, and the students will know how to, will be taught how to get the recordings for your session. Once the session is finished, the recording is saved and is processed and is displayed here.
Now, just one thing. There is now, even though the 30 days, if the 30 days have passed, it doesn't mean that the recording is deleted. It just means that, yeah, it's there. It just wouldn't appear as the more recent recordings. Yeah. So it'll be there, and you just have to tweak the filter to find it.
To find it, yeah. Right. So, and it also makes the students be what do you call it? Be on the ball, basically, in that they go and they download the stuff as soon as they need to. The other thing is the reports, the attendance reports. So if you click on your session, right, you don't want to join the session, you want to click on the ellipse at the furthest right-hand side of the session and go down to view reports. Right? Since we have no reports, you would not be able to see it. Since this is our first session, you won't be able to see it right now until the session is completed. There will be a list, and it will have you can download the session attendance report, and it will show how many times the student tried to logged in and bumped off, and what time they came into the session as well. Okay. And you can download that as your attendance report.
Great. Just we just have one more question and we'll wrap up now. Can you just, Michele?
Stop sharing?
No. The older recordings. So you click, just show them where to get the recordings one more time. And
at the top here,
right,
menu, go down to recordings, and you can actually filter by recent recordings or recordings within a range, so you can put in a date.
Perfect. All right. So, colleagues, I think that brings us to the end of our session. And I hope it was, I guess, Michele, you could probably do a quick poll if the session has been beneficial to you. And should you need any further assistance, of course, you feel free to send an email. Now, two things. We have an evaluation, all right, that would have been sent to your email inboxes by now. All right, so please feel free to complete those, and so we can know how to improve this session. All right, especially as we'll be doing it a couple more times. And of course, if you need any assistance, feel free to send an email to cetl_bl@sta.uwi.edu, or for technical issues, you can send an email to servicedesk@sta.uwi.edu. And Michele, I would like to thank you so much. I thank you so much for joining us and helping us out in this session. I think it was really nice that they had a different voice.
Not a problem, not a problem.
So, and I know some of you indicated an interest in joining the session on Friday. So we'll be doing the same thing. So it wouldn't be a surprise. It might be a revision for you, along with the recording. If you can probably look at the recording and see if you need to attend on Friday. Okay. If then other persons will attend. All right, guys. So do have a great afternoon. I see we have this session as beneficial to those who voted so far. 18. Okay, good, not bad. All right. So colleagues, have a great afternoon, and we look forward to hearing from you. All right.
No problem.
Thanks again, Michele.
Not a problem.